If you work with data, you know the dream, right? We're all chasing these clean, reliable pipelines that drive really smart decisions. But let's be honest, the reality, it's often a whole lot messier. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a practice that's really designed to fix all that chaos: data observability.
Ah, yes. It's that message, the one that sends a shiver down the spine of every single data team out there. It kicks off an instant fire drill, right? A total scramble to figure out what broke, where it broke, and, most importantly, how much damage it's done. This one simple question, it perfectly captures the core problem that data observability is built to solve.
And look, this isn't just a one-off thing. When this fire drill happens over and over again, week after week, it starts to wear away at something incredibly fragile, but absolutely essential: trust. This creates what we call the data trust gap. And honestly, its consequences are massive.
So to really get a handle on this trust gap, we first need to define a key term: data downtime. Now, this isn't just about a server going offline. No. This is when the data itself becomes unreliable. Maybe it's stale, maybe it's incomplete, or maybe it's just plain wrong. It is a silent killer for any data-driven organization.
And you see, every single instance of data downtime just chips away at that confidence. When business leaders can't trust the numbers in their reports, or they can't trust the predictions from their ML models, guess what? They stop using them. Innovation just stalls. Those big AI projects get put on the back burner, and the entire data platform starts losing its value. That, right there, is the data trust gap in action.
And hey, this isn't just a vibe. The numbers absolutely back it up. Just look at this chart. When companies are asked what's holding back their AI success, what are the top two answers? Boom. Poor data quality and a lack of trust. It's this vicious cycle. Bad data creates the trust gap, and that gap stops progress cold. Okay, so if that's the problem, and it's a big one, what's the solution? Well, the modern answer to this whole trust gap mess is data observability. And this isn't just about monitoring your systems, it's about truly deeply understanding the health of the data inside those systems.
A really solid observability strategy is built on what are known as the 5 pillars of data health. First up, freshness. Basically, is my data up to date? Second, distribution. Do the values in my data even make sense? Third, you've got volume. Is the amount of data coming in what I expected? Fourth, schema. Has the actual structure of my data suddenly changed on me? And finally, lineage, and we'll circle back to this one, it's a biggie. It asks, where did this data come from and where is it going?
And this table here really drives home what happens when one of those pillars starts to crumble. You know, if your freshness fails, your dashboard is pretty much useless for making real-time decisions. If your volume is off, let's say 0 rows show up instead of the usual 10,000, your C-suite's most critical reports just disappear. Each and every pillar is a potential point of failure with a very real business impact.
So, we've got the 5 pillars. But how do teams actually implement all this? Well, it turns out there are 2 main philosophies for getting to data trust, and they really approach the problem from different angles.
And this is the central question for any team starting their observability journey, isn't it? Do you proactively define all the things you know can go wrong, or do you set up a system to automatically monitor for things you don't even know to look for? Let's break that down.
On one side, you have proactive testing. This is championed by open-source tools like Great Expectations. Think of this approach like an architect, meticulously planning for every single known risk. You literally write unit tests for your data. Then, on the other side, you have automated monitoring from platforms like Monte Carlo. This is more like an AI-powered security guard that learns the normal rhythms of your environment so it can spot any unusual activity, even the unknown unknowns.
So in the world of Great Expectations, you are the architect. It's very developer-centric. You write these explicit rules that call them expectations, like, hey, this column should never ever be null. You bundle these rules into suites, run them at key checkpoints in your pipeline, and you get back these really clean, human-readable data docs that the whole team can agree on.
Now, the automated approach taken by platforms like Monte Carlo, that's really designed for scale. Instead of you writing every rule by hand, it uses machine learning to automatically figure out the normal baseline for freshness, volume, and distribution for every single table. The whole goal is to cut down on manual work and give you a safety net across your entire data estate.
Okay, now let's talk about the pillar that really elevates observability from just a defensive tool into a strategic weapon. This is the one that connects all the dots: data lineage.
To put it simply, data lineage is a map of your data's journey. It shows you exactly where a piece of data came from, every single transformation it went through, and every dashboard, model, or report that depends on it downstream. It's literally the GPS for your entire data ecosystem.
So what's the real-world impact of having a map like this? I mean, think about it. When something breaks, how long does it take your team to find the source? Hours? Days? One case study found that teams using automated Lineage cut their time for root cause analysis by, wait for it, 95%. That's turning weeks of painful detective work into a matter of minutes. And this is why Lineage is such a game changer. It makes every single alert actionable. It lets you look backward to instantly answer why an issue happened by tracing it right to the source. And it lets you look forward to answer what else is going to break, showing you the full blast radius of a problem.
Now, implementing all these tools and concepts, it's not a one-time project. It's really an organizational evolution. The goal is to move up this maturity curve from constantly fighting fires to building resilient and eventually autonomous systems.
And this slide lays out that journey perfectly. Most organizations, let's be real, start at stage 1, pure chaos, just reacting to fires. But as they mature, they move towards being proactive, using machine learning to prevent issues before they even happen. But the holy grail, the real goal, is stage 5, autonomous, self-healing pipelines where the system can literally fix itself.
And this is where the entire field is heading. The future of data operations is autonomous. We're moving from a world where systems just alert you to a problem to one where AI agents can suggest the fix, and not too far down the line, actually execute that fix automatically.
So this leaves us with one last, really critical question to think about. Are your systems just being monitored? Checking for failures you already know about? Or is your data truly being observed with a deep contextual understanding of its health, its behavior, and its lineage? Because the answer to that question will define the reliability and the trustworthiness of every single data product you build.